Okay, so I'm here with my sleep coaching client, James. How are you doing? Just introduce yourself.
Jester, I'm great, thanks, mate. Hi, everyone. My name's James. I am a closer in the high ticket space. I work in the property space, and I'm also a high ticket coach as well, where I work with students to improve their sales performance.
Perfect. So, what was actually happening before you came to me? What was going on? What's the issue?
Yeah, sleep was not fun. It was. I wasn't looking forward to it at all, which was a bit sad, to be honest. Sleep was just really rough. I could be in bed for 8, 9 hours, whatever's the good amount of time, but I just wasn't having the quality of sleep that I needed. And it was frustrating because I was getting the amount of hours everyone tells you to get, right? But I was absolutely exhausted throughout the day. And, you know, I it's I always thought that, you know, um, not having enough sleep was it's okay. I'll just battle through. Like it's nothing that a couple of coffees can't fix, right? Couple of coffees, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be good to go. Wrong. So my coffee intake went through the roof. Like extraordinary amount of caffeine. Definitely not healthy. Probably not safe. Just to try and get through the days. But the sleep was pretty poor, mate. Just really rough. Up multiple times a night. Never comfortable. I might be good to get to sleep, but I'd wake up throughout the night not being able to get to sleep. Like there wasn't just one problem. There was so many different problems that I was, suffering. It was not good.
Mm. Yeah, they're quite often like tied in together, sleep issues. So you have one thing, then you have another thing, and it's all the behaviors as well, right around that. Like the coffee needed to actually push through the day because of poor sleep probably then had the impact on your sleep as well, amongst other
Mm.
things. And it's kind of that cycle. Do you remember how long you were in that cycle for?
How long I was having those bad sleeps for?
Mm,
Boy, I'd probably like to say around 18 months, I think. 12 months to 18 months, somewhere around there, I feel. Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah, I sort of given up on it, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is just how it is, getting older, and heard of stories from my grandparents where, you know, bad sleep as you sort of get older. I just thought it's my turn. Yeah.
mm. Feel like a lot of people get to that point where it's over 6 months or it's over 12 months. They're like, "Okay, this is just my reality now." And then they're like, "Okay, I can't do anything to fix it. I'm just gonna accept feeling like this the rest of my life," which is, yeah, not the best way to live.
No.
Obviously, you were dealing with this for 18 months, so you tried things before, and we spoke about that. So, like, what were the main things that you tried to solve this?
Yeah, well, funny because I had some sleep issues probably about 3 years ago, and there were certain things that I did and it worked. So I revisited a lot of those this time around. So everything from melatonin supplements. Um, what else was I doing? I was trying to do like saunas before bed as well. That was something that I was trying to do. I was no screens, for like hours before bed, no food before bed as well. Um, I mean hours. So I'm not talking like a couple of hours. Like I tried everything. I thought, well, maybe it's the food. So let's try that. And because it'd been going on for so long, I was happy to try the extreme just to see if that was going to work. Um, what else was I trying? Yeah, the melatonin was something that I thought was definitely going to work because it worked last time and didn't work this time. I also had a breath work routine that what it would do was it would sort of help boost your natural melatonin. It was a breath work cycle, and that worked amazingly last time, and it didn't work at all this time. So basically, I just had enough. I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. But I also remember I also tried a few other things. I tried CBD oil specifically for my sleep. I went through, a consultation with somebody, and I explained to them it was the sleep that was the issue. So it was specifically for that, and that didn't work either.
Mm.
I didn't have trouble going to sleep. It was the restless sleeps and waking up in the middle of the night type thing. going on. So, yeah, I
Right.
was sort of out of options. I didn't know what else to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was that interruption of sleep, right? So it's quite low quality, remember.
Mm, yeah.
What do you feel like, because that was 18 months of just getting poor sleep on end, really, and you were pretty done with it. What do you feel like got you to that point where you were done and you just had enough of it?
Um, Actually, it's a story with my little boy. So I had my little boy on the weekend, and normal night before, not too crazy, like not late, nothing. But that sleep that day was horrendous. So that night was shocking. And so the next day we were to hang out, and do bits and pieces. And I was exhausted. I was smashing coffee, and I had to tell him at one point, I was like, "Mate, I've got to go for a sleep." And he wasn't too happy about that because he's only little. But I needed to do it because I was exhausted. It was like coffee was doing nothing, stimulants were doing nothing. It's like I just needed to go to sleep. And that was frustrating because, as I said, the day before, the night before, I was good. Like, I wasn't like I was up all hours of the night partying or doing anything silly. It was just a shit sleep for no reason. And I was like, right, I had a gutful. And that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. When you're running on empty or exhausted for apparently no reason, and then it's affecting, family life, it's
Mm.
just, you know. And then also with work as well, did you notice any impacts going on there at all?
Yeah, work was something where, listen, I always just focused. I just kept working as hard as I could. And, I didn't sort of let sleep bother me as much. And how I did that was I just kept drinking coffee. So
Mm,
I was masking the problem with caffeine and just focusing on work. That was it. I definitely, excuse me, I definitely felt more anxious. I felt more scattered as well, being that tired and obviously consuming so much caffeine didn't really help. I did feel like I was getting pulled from pillar to post at times. So yeah, it wasn't good. I sort of felt like I was just always, yeah, always sort of chasing my tail, you know?
yeah. I find people can get in that cycle of, yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm on caffeine. I'm on two coffees, three coffees, four coffees by midday. I can push through. But then that's deteriorating and it's obviously slowly becomes like not effective as you saw. But it also makes you like less focused, more scattered, and actually not able to think so clearly because you're just in that heightened stress state, really.
Mm, yeah, it was.
So,
And being so I'll just say this as well as it being in sales too, it's you know, what we do before we jump on a sales call is incredibly important. And I just wasn't primed how I should be. I wasn't relaxed. I wasn't focused, and I was anxious as well about the result. Again,
mm,
because I just terrible sleep and, trying to mask it with caffeine.
just to touch on that, I know you've got like a ridiculous 89% close rate or something like that. You can correct me if that's wrong. Do you feel like being in that stress state and not having the restful sleeps affected your ability to have those conversations with people on calls?
Yeah, it certainly did. It wasn't as easy as it was, um, most definitely. But I think it was like my result didn't drop, but the emotional weight of it definitely took its toll on me.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
Very anxious, putting a lot more focus into it when it wasn't needed. Just sort of what I was touching on before, Chester, about my preparation was just not where it needed to be. So thankfully, my results weren't impacted, but me personally, yeah, I was feeling it. Yeah.
Mm, that makes sense. And then obviously coming through the coaching process with me, doing, it's been 11 weeks now that we've done together. How do you feel like coaching helped?
Mate, it's helped dramatically. Right in the very beginning when we started off, obviously it was there was a lot of change and it was a focus for me. And I saw, results quite quickly. And it sort of didn't dawn on me to how much I improved until, my routine was automatic and we'd been working together for some time, and it was really just like a day or so. I was like, actually, I've had some pretty bloody good sleeps over the past couple of weeks. Like it was all just sort of coming together,
Mm.
and you know, being able to have consistent energy, have my coffee. I don't go crazy on the coffees anymore. I love my coffee, so I'm not getting rid of it. But I definitely have my coffee, but it's not, you know, over the top like it was in the past. And I'm certainly not anxious. I'm a lot more in control, and because I saw it working as well, I've leaned into it. So I
Mm.
know, what I need to be doing. I have my structure. And that was a big problem in the past, in the 18 months, is because there was a lot of confusion, right? And I said I drew that line in the sand when I had the day with my little boy, but it was like I hadn't met you at that time. I just knew that I needed to do something about it. I had no idea what to do. And that was the frustrating part when I was just sleeping so crappy for that time. It was like, what else do I do? Like, I'm doing everything. I just didn't know what else to do, and that was annoying. Mhm.
100%. You feel like you've almost exhausted all pathways. So it's like, where do I go from here? Right.
Yeah.
Now that's quite interesting because you almost thought that you were just going to have to accept this. So were you skeptical about what I do and if I could actually help with your sleeping performance before coming onto this?
Was I skeptical?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't, mate. I trusted you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I trusted you. I did my due diligence. I had my spies. We're all good.
With because with thinking of the things that you tried before and knowing that none of it had worked, what do you feel like actually made what we did different to that?
Um, well, when I was trying stuff on my own, I was just throwing mud at the wall and seeing what would stick, right?
Mm.
And obviously, you and your background, your personal experience, right? The results, you had structure, you knew what worked. So I leaned into that. So I didn't think that, working with you was the same method, throwing mud against the wall, right? We weren't doing that. We had a step-by-step plan of attack. And, we've implemented quite a lot over these 11 weeks or whatever it is. And obviously you didn't load me up in the first meeting that we had. We've done it bit by bit. And when things have been going right, then we work on the next thing. And that's great. And that's how you ultimately want to do this. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And then what's the sleep allowed you to do, or what's it giving you more of when it comes to just your day to day?
Yeah. Well, listen, yeah. The biggest aspect would be around my work, my sales, and so forth. I'm not as anxious. I'm not feeling that pillar to post feeling, right? Just getting pulled everywhere. That was, you know, not enjoyable at all. So I don't have that feeling anymore, which is really nice. It's easier to focus. I sleep. Obviously, I go to sleep better as well. I have better sleep, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Mm,
It's not a, like I used to sort of dread it in a way. I was like, I got to go to sleep now. Like it's not one of those things. It's like, oh, I'm sleepy. Can't wait to cuddle up into bed. No, that wasn't what it was like. So it's
mm,
good to have the enjoyment of sleep again.
definitely. And then last question on this is, on our last call last week, you mentioned you being at two different performance levels before and after. Where do you feel like you were in terms of your performance, and where do you feel like you are now in terms of your performance overall?
Just in day to day performance or work performance, or
Honestly, everything. Like, how much difference has it actually made to, your ability to just be productive, get work done, or just perform at the level that you want to? And what's the difference between those two levels?
yeah. Well, listen, the difference is pretty massive. It's hard to sort of quantify it. To be honest, it's been, you know, night and day. No pun intended. But it's honestly, it has been. It's just trying to think of the best way to explain it for you, mate. Um, I was always, tr- I was always trying to look at different hacks to
Mm,
improve my my focus, my energy, my performance, right? I would say I'm a bit of a biohacker. You know, I do lots of stuff. I got ice baths and all that type of thing. Like I'm quite regular on that. So I was really leaning into that side of things to try and help with everything because I thought, oh, I'm surely there's going to be an answer there. But basically it just come down to better quality sleep, right? And I didn't need all that stuff, right? So
Mm.
yeah, I was always looking for a band-aid solution instead of, a foundational fix. Yeah.
I think that's such a good way to describe it, and I think so many people do that. It's like, "Oh, let me try my red light therapy. Let me try my mouth tape, my blue light blockers. Let me try
Yeah,
my"
yeah, I tried all that. I tried all that. I forgot them. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to use them too. No, it's never about that. It's just about the foundations. That's what's actually going to make
Mm.
you the best, right? So yeah, thanks so much, man. And last question from me: like, who would you actually recommend my coaching service to?
Oh, mate. Well, I don't want to sound too cliche, but everyone, right? I think it's really the case. Like anyone that's having, you know, below par sleeps, that's lacking energy throughout the day, who, propping themselves by caffeine, up by caffeine, definitely would benefit with working with you. I mean, I don't like, mate, you'd probably know the numbers on this, but I reckon there's only a small fraction of people globally that probably sleep well, right? There's
Mm,
so much more improvement. And really, just so much comes from having a good sleep. Get a good sleep, it just improves so many aspects of your life. So, again, I said it's cliche, but it's true. It's honestly true. Everyone can, benefit from getting better sleep. But honestly, if you want more focus, if you actually want to enjoy going to sleep, if you want to be able to perform at your best, then yeah, by all means, mate, what you teach is, incredibly beneficial and it's going to change, their world. And we've got to think of it as well. We're not thinking about just us as a single person improving our sleep, like what's the domino effect that this is going to have in all other areas of our life with our kids and our family? Like I gave you an example, about my little boy. That's a fair income story. That was the truth, right?
yeah,
So I don't have those problems anymore. We're good.
that's so good for me to hear, man. And it's been a pleasure working with you, and thank you so much for jumping on today and talking through this with me.
My pleasure, mate.